what's going on.
We're live.
We're live. Welcome, everybody, to the Pinstripe Chronicles. Good Friday morning. I'm Rob, and I'm here with Donald. Uncle Tats is backstage trying to get some things figured out. Well, what we didn't have to figure out is the Yankees did split the series, going 2 out of 4 with the Seattle Mariners taking the last 2 games, as we hoped they would. We saw some really good pitching. Luis Gil continues to absolutely shove and put himself into the conversation of one of the best pitchers in the American League, certainly being a Rookie of the Year candidate so far 2 months into the season. His start to this 2024 campaign continues to get better and better, following up a 14 strikeout game with another 8 in 6 and a third inning against a good Mariners team that supposedly punches in the mouth. So, Donald, how are we feeling after these last 2 games?
We're feeling good, and we will get into all that stuff. But let's say hello to everyone in the chat. But before we do that, let's hit the music, baby. Let's get started on this show. What is up, Yankee fans? How are we doing, everyone? Let's say hello to everyone in the chat. Got NFB, got Stevie B, got Mr. Barros. What up, Mr. Barros? We got Medina. Good to see you, Medina. I hope you're doing okay, my guy. Dev Finch, salute to you. Sean Browning, salute to you. Will Starr, salute to you. And Jonathan, everyone in the chat on Friday morning. What is happening, everyone? We got Uncle Tats with some of his weekly technical difficulties, and he's working in the background to try and get that sorted. We got Mello, let's go, my favorite Nick other than Jalen Brunson of all time, and we've now got my guy Rubino, our host for today. How are you feeling after we pulled off 2 straight?
Feel good. I feel real good about it. To tell the fact that we were a fluky inning away from a series win, I'm gonna sign up for that. 2 out of 4. Split the series with a good Mariners team, shutting some people up in the process. Spoiler alert for who might get a certain Aaron Hicks award for today coming up later on in the show, because it is a series award show we got going on this Friday morning. But man, I can't get enough of what the captain is doing. Aaron Judge is on fire. Stanton is having himself a fantastic season. Juan Soto is Juan Soto. And this Yankee pitching continues to be absolutely brilliant. They are playing as exciting of a brand of baseball as we've seen in quite some time, or at least the last 2 years. And man, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. The first 2 games of the series were weird. We felt a little bit down, nothing negative, but we were just like, it was a rough 2 games, and they bounced back like nothing ever happened. And we quickly forgot about those first 2 games because yesterday and the day before went so well, and the offense came back. They had some big hits again yesterday, and man, can we not say enough about Luis Gil? The start he's having. I do have some numbers actually about Luis Gil that I got from Twitter, and I want to put them up here now. Let them know. This one comes from Yankee Source. April he had 19 walks, 35 strikeouts in 24 innings. In May, he's only got 10 walks, 35 strikeouts in 30 innings. So he's pitched more innings, he's walking less, and he's still striking out a ton. He has walked 2 or less in 5 of his last 6 starts. The main thing we said about Luis Gil is the command needs to get better, and it certainly has gotten better. And another stat, this one's a little bit more uplift. I mean, this one's really good too. The last one was uplifting, but this one, Luis Gil's first 10 starts, 6-1 with a 2.11 ERA. This one comes from Max T. Goodman, by the way. 55 in the third inning, 70 strikeouts, 29 walks. Opponents are hitting 143 against him with a 492 OPS. The Yankees are 8-2 in these starts. Garrett Cole in last year's season, first 10 starts, 5-0, a 2.01 ERA, 62 and 2/3, 68 strikeouts, 20 walks. Opponents were hitting 209 with a 585 OPS. Yankees were 8-2 in those starts. He is right on par with Cy Young Garrett Cole from last year. That's how good Luis Gil's first 2 months of this season have been.
Oh my God, I'm speechless, bro. I mean, this is a good opportunity for us as a channel to flex that we were like, this guy needs to be in the rotation because, wow. I mean, I've been riding this guy before, a lot have, but I'll be honest, this is even mind blowing for me. This dude is pitching like Garrett Cole out there. Can you imagine when Garrett Cole comes in here? We've already got the best rotation, like ERA wise, around, and then you're going to add the Cy Young Award winner very soon after that. But as for Luis Gil, he is so good, bro. He's so fucking good. Like he is taking on some of the best teams in the majors, and they all make them look stupid. He made J Rod look stupid. He made J Rod look really significantly overrated. That's how good Heel is. Heel's been mowing him down, baby. He's been mowing him down. I'm shocked when he gives up a run. He's that good right now. He is the real deal. Sean Browning, he is a real deal. I mean, yeah, the real deal is Heel is a keeper. Send Cortez to the pen. Funny thing is, Cortez didn't even pitch very well in the last outing, and he still pitched a shutout over 5 innings.
His ERA is like a 3.26. It's
unbelievable. So, what can you say about this rotation? But as for Luis Gil, I'm so proud of this kid. He continues to turn heads, and he continues to just dominate out there. I think that's the best term. He's dominating. He doesn't even look he doesn't look phased. He just dominates. And hey, who else loved that Garrett Cole was on the front step like a manager, and then he signals to Rizzo. You see this? He signals to Rizzo, and he was like, like that, just like go talk to Heel, calm him down, and let's get this inning taken care of. And he does that, and then he gets the strikeout, badass strikeout, just mowed the guy down, man. A 99-mile-an-hour fastball just blew him away. Heel walks off the mound. Garrett Cole was just like, "No, job done." That's a fucking manager. Garrett Cole's a future manager, bro. He is a future manager. You can see it. Like that dude's in charge. Garrett Cole's in charge. He's not even on the active roster yet, and he's in charge. I love it. But what he's doing with Heel and what Heel's doing is just. I'm running out of superlatives for this kid. He just continues to blow us away. So good.
It's been absolutely fun to watch, but let's break down game 3 of this series, the one that Nestor Cortez started that we talked about earlier. He ended up going 5 innings, 97 pitches, lowered his ERA to a 3.29, as you mentioned. He did have a shutout, struck out 6. He did walk 3 hits, and it didn't matter because we won the game. The offense came out, swung the bats well. Juan Soto had the 2 home runs that night, drove in 3. Aaron Judge had another one. His month of May has been historic. And we'll touch on that a little bit later because we got to talk about this game in general. Verdugo had a home run. The entire outfield was our offense in that game. And Volpe continues a hitting streak. Everything's working out well. The Yankees score 7 runs. Tommy Kahnle came back through a clean inning, and the Yankees got the W. So how about that third game? 7-3 final. Ended up making it a 2-1 series at that point. What'd you think about Nestor? Let's start with Nestor. What'd you think about his start as we welcome Uncle Tats back?
Nestor didn't even have his best stuff, right? He left a couple of pitches up, and they got drilled. But guess what? He got freaking lucky. The one pitch that he thought was a home run, where you could see he reacted. He was like, "Damn it!" Went off the wall. He got kind of lucky there. But apart from that, he got himself in a lot of trouble, like 3 or 4 walks, bunch of hits, and all that. But guess what? He pitched out of it perfectly. He was absolutely excellent. When he needed the big pitch, he got the big pitch. So, like, what can you say? He didn't have his best stuff. Michael Kay and even Todd Frazier were saying it. They're like, he doesn't have his best stuff out there, but he is making the big pitch when it counts to get out of these jams and completely unscathed. Not even one guy crossed home plate with him in there over 5 innings. So you can't complain. You take that every single day. That's the thing. There's going to be times where you don't have your best stuff, and it's in those starts that you don't have your best stuff. It's really a measure of the kind of season you're having. If you can get out of these games, these outings where you don't have your best stuff, and you can get out of it relatively unscathed, you're gonna have a pretty good year. So salute to Nestor for getting out of those tough jams. What can you say? I mean, he's not as, let's face it, he's not as exciting to watch as Luis Gil. He's not dominant out there. He's not mowing people down like Rodon. He doesn't have the great stuff that Stroman has. He doesn't have any of that. But what he does have is he's got a lot of guile, and he's got those arm angles, and he just continues to make the big pitches when required. Now, if the Yankees aren't going to a 6-man rotation, then for me it's not even a question. Luis Gil needs to be in the rotation, but Nestor's doing his job, and when you look at that ERA, you take that from an ace, let alone a number 5 starter. He's doing a good job. There's absolutely no argument there. So, good morning to Uncle Tats.
Good morning. Want to let you finish before I jump in, but shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate everybody. Always, I appreciate Rob and Donald for holding it down. But on Wednesday and to kick off today's show, you really are family. And that's what this channel is about. Fans becoming family. Look, there's a couple things. One, I agree with you, Rob. I can't wait for the awards today because there's going to be some fire shots being thrown. As far as non-Yankee fans, even some Yankee fans that want to say that our pitching staff is shit, just look at the numbers. That's it. We thought that this was going to be a shit show when Cole went down. This starting rotation has held down better than any other staff anybody else would have caved under the pressure of having to navigate through series game after game without their ace. No other team would be able to reach the point of holding down first place, having the best record, the best ERA of a rotation in baseball, the best pitching staff overall in baseball without Garrett Cole. So, I got into a few arguments the last couple of days with people saying that we don't have the pitching to sustain the season. Well, where has the proof been that these guys can't hold it down? They've done it. They've done it against teams that were supposed to beat. They've done it with teams that we were supposed to be evenly matched against. And we've even faced a few teams that were hotter than us that we shut down. So I just don't understand that narrative. It just doesn't make any sense to me. From Rodon having the bounce back season that he's having after last year, proving again what we were saying. Don't look at these numbers. He's just not healthy. All right, that was our narrative last year. Let's see how he bounces back with a full spring training. Boom. Here we have Rodon. Stroman. Nobody wanted Stroman. I myself was a little bit critical about how, his ego finally being on the Yankees was going to translate onto the mound. He's been legit. Hill has shown that he's going to be, the ace behind Cole in years to come. And Cortez, that I wish he was, we all wanted consistency out of. He's being as consistent as the back of his baseball card could be. And Clark Schmidt has shown that the end of last year was him coming into his own. And he's taken that, and he's even elevated himself even more. So where is this rotation weak? I don't know if I'm just having Yankee glasses on. I don't see a weakness in this rotation.
You can't right now. I mean, there is none. That's all we have to go on is what we have seen through the first 40, 50 games of the season, whatever number we are at. It's May 24th. We can't predict what's going to be the case with this rotation on July 24th. We can't even predict what's going to happen on May 31st. Like, we can't do that because that's in the future. But we can only go on what we've seen right now. And right now, the Yankee rotation has no flaws because every single one of those starters, you would sign up for those numbers. If you would have told me at the end of May, Nestor Cortez would have an ERA of 3.29, I would have signed up for that. Rodon would look like the Rodon we gave $27 million to. Of course, you sign up for that. If you would have told me Luis Gil would be on par with Garrett Cole from last year, I would have said you're crazy. But guess what? That's what the reality is. Marcus Stroman is pitching to the back of his baseball card, as expected, and Clark Schmidt has been better than expected. We were saying a 4.3 ERA is perfectly fine for a bottom of the rotation guy. Well, Clark Schmidt's been far better than that. His ERA's in the twos. So, I mean, what are people complaining about here?
I don't think there'll be anyone complaining.
And they are, they're desperate. I said this to NFE the other day. People are desperate for something to complain about. So they're nitpicking little things that could be said. Oh, this team is in first place. We're 3 games up. We're playing outstanding baseball. We have the best duo possibly ever in our lineup right now of Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, absolutely mashing. We have a rotation of 5 starters that have been pitching out of their minds, breaking records we have not seen from this team, and this team has been around since the Big Bang. Tats was there to see it, and here we are doing things we haven't seen for a century, and people want to complain. So, like, what are we doing here? Imagine if this team was 500. The team would probably, the stadium might be burnt to the ground with the way people are overreacting to a winning team. This is what we have to look forward to every time when these Yankees play and they want to find something to complain about. So if they want to do that, let them go do that. But the reality is this team is playing out of their minds, and it's enjoyable baseball pretty much every single game. There's a very few games that have been like unwatchable, but here we are, end of May, best record in the AL, one of the second best record in the majors, possibly the best rotation in baseball, maybe second best. I don't know ERA-wise if there's anyone above us.
I've got it here. Yeah, the rotation as a whole owns a 2.85 ERA, which is third best in the entire majors.
And
they're doing this without Garrett Cole. Here's the individual ERAs. Luis Gil, 2.13 ERA. Clark Schmidt, 2.5 ERA. Marcus Stroman, 3.05 ERA. Carlos Rodon, 3.27 ERA. Nestor Cortez, 3.29 ERA. That puts the Yankees pitching rotation third in the major leagues. More particular stats to pay attention to. Amongst qualified AL starter, Luis Gil ranks in the top 10 across the board in all pitchers in ERA, FIP, WHIP, K percentage, home runs per 9 innings, 0.49 by the way, and batting average against of 141. So that means that no one's hitting home runs against him, and no one can get on base against him. there you go. So that's pretty freaking significant right there. Other particular pay attention to how about the Yankees starting rotation has gone 8-1 with a 1 ERA over its last 10 games, over its last 8, a 0.85 ERA, with 9 strikeouts per 9 innings and 1.6 wins above replacement and a 0.78 whip, a 0.86 ERA over 52 and a third innings. Listen to these stats. Listen to those stats, guys. Those are unbelievable. And the thing is, I know, what a wild stat. It is wild. It is absolutely wild. And what's amazing is, for the first time since, answers on a postcard. For the first time, there is 0 to complain about. 0. Our offense is cooking. Our rotation is cooking. Our GM's done a good job this offseason, an excellent job. And our manager, 9 times out of 10, has done an excellent job too. The one mistake he made, he owned up to right after. Yep. Right? So there is nothing to complain about. If you're wanting to really pinpoint complaints, maybe the infield defense. That's been the only thing that hasn't really lived up to its potential. But apart from that, everything else has been great.
Yep.
There's nothing to complain about. The Yankee Stadium is going to be rocking, and we're going to see some historic moments this year. We will. Like this Mantle Maris partnership that we have right now of Soto and Judge is going to make history. It's guaranteed to make history. Look at them. The two of them are absolutely crushing it. And we've got the third best rotation in the majors, and we don't even have Garrett Cole yet. Wow.
Wild.
Just wow. And we didn't even spend that much money on this rotation in the offseason. We relied on what we already had. Apart from signing Stroman on a deal which was more team friendly than pitcher friendly, the player friendly. So nothing to complain about. Great offseason and a great season so far. This is going to be a fun year. I'd recommend everyone who's not on board yet, get on board because it's going to be fun. And another thing, and this is just in general, this is not to any individual. Don't try and look for problems because problems will present itself. It's over 162 games. There's always going to be something that's going to happen. Don't look for problems. Enjoy what you're seeing because it does. If you're looking for something that isn't there, it will detract from what you're already seeing. And we're lucky enough to see this product. This is a great product. So that's my advice, guys, because there's not many times in sports are you going to look at a team that you love that is kind of really, really good. Really freaking insanely good. It doesn't happen very often. So I'd say jump on board and have fun. That's my advice.
Unless you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, when you're winning every single year, it's so difficult, especially in this sport. Even the Dodgers have had a few bumps in the road, but there they are, as expected, at the top of their division. So baseball is a long freaking season, and the Yankees still have one of the best records in the majors. I think people are just trying to find things to complain about, and we've seen a couple of people bringing up the Hal comments in the chat, so we might as well talk about that now because it has been circulating. I truly believe it's an overreaction. Everyone reacting to a Hal Steinbrenner said, there's nothing to really nitpick there. He didn't say anything that I didn't already know. I said all offseason, don't expect the Yankees to spend a lot next year. It's going to be Juan Soto, maybe a re-signing of a bullpen arm or something, and then a couple of smaller moves. They're going to rely on the farm system. And there are people out there that are going crazy about these comments. Like he said something that we don't already know. Like they're making it seem like the Yankees are not going to spend anymore, or they're going to try to cut payroll. No, he's just saying they're not going to have $300 million anymore on the payroll, which is perfectly acceptable. Doesn't mean they won't spend 290. Doesn't even mean they won't get to 297. But they don't need to be going over $300 million every year. He said it's not sustainable. I know you're the New York Yankees. You can afford it. But everyone's saying this and bringing up George now. Like, oh, George would have never. George didn't operate under the same luxury tax rules that Hal has to. I don't think George would be so willing to spend money if he had to pay over $100 million every year in taxes. I really don't think he would. I know he cared more about winning than anything, but if you would have told him, hey, they're going to hit some penalties, I think he would pull back the reins on spending a little bit. So Hal's comments did not bother me. He never once said it would take away for the Soto pursuit. In fact, he said everything you want to hear him say about Soto, how he's fell into the New York way. He's passed everything with flying colors. He talked about the farm system. He talked about how good this team is playing. And that's why everything he's saying to me is just, I'm perfectly fine with it. Let him be truthful. I want him to be honest, because if he were to lie to us and say, oh, well, we'll see what happens in the offseason, I know that's not true. I know Hal is very budget conscious. He's very financially aware. He didn't want to go over the tax this year, but he had no choice because his team has to win. So he went out there, he put his money where his mouth was, and now he sees that this team is really good. Most of this roster is going to be back next year anyway, aside from a few free agents. You assume they're going to bring back the most prized one, that's Juan Soto, and the rest are probably going to have to go, but that's fine. Look at the way they're developing the system. Look at the way they're developing the team that we have now. This rotation's intact next year. There's not a single starter that's going to be a free agent next season.
Yep.
We discussed this in our private chat, Rob.
So, Tats, I want to get your opinion on this first. Do you have any issue with what Hal's comments were or what Hal had to
No,
say?
I had no issue at all. Like when I first heard the statement, I'm like, wait, last week you were saying how you're going to resign Soto, and now you're saying you're on a, you're watching the budget. I thought the optic and the timing, was a little shady.
Yeah.
But Rob, to what you were saying, and if and anybody that was in NFV stream yesterday on the Strike Zone, Jason was on there who has an from 161 who has an economics degree, was actually on there and he was breaking everything down of how's what appears to be how's intention. Yeah, it does not mean that they're not going to sign Soto. It just means after we get Soto, because there's so many people, like you just said with the rotation, they're all it's going to be rinse and repeat next year with the rotation. The bullpen, you can always find those Matt Blake projects to plug in if if they decide to let some people go. Verdugo's on a rental, and Torres is in his last year. So those are two contracts right away coming off the books. Rizzo is in question. Until we actually see production, I'm not, let's see what's going on with the future with DJ, because we have enough players in the pipeline ready to go where they can give Soto the most amount of money that he can get to retain him as a Yankee, which I think he has every intentions of staying, and not go over that Cohen threshold. I think that's the Cohen threshold is where he wants to curb it. All right, go throw. Sorry. But it's I think that one, how's it the owners' meetings? Right? That's what they talk about, their budgets. So it's not like this is anything that has never been discussed before. When the owners all sit around and what do you think they're talking about? What gardening service they use? No. They're talking about where their budgets are, for future projectiles. So it's completely blown out of proportion by a lot of fans.
Yeah, let's gonna break it down a little bit. Torres will almost certainly be gone next year. Rizzo, I don't believe will pick up that option. Canley is probably going to be gone because you could probably get cheaper options. Verdugo, I love this guy. If there's any way we could bring him back, I would try and do it, but it doesn't look like it, right? Just considering what we've got coming through. So you take those contracts out and re-sign Soto, it's almost kind of similar. There won't be a big difference between taking those salaries out of it and then re-signing Soto. So our salary, our luxury tax isn't going to shoot up doing that. And then you look at what we've got coming through in the wings. You got Spencer Jones, you got Dominguez. They're going to be guaranteed to be everyday players. You've got Rice, you got Wells. These dudes are those dudes are you could obviously rely on to come through. Then you got Peraza and you got Cabrera. Those guys are there as well. And then rotation, you got Heel and Schmidt that you're absolutely certain to have. And then there's the other options coming through in AAA. I mean, Rob broke down who he thinks is going to be coming through in 2024. You think he's going to be a big starter, Rob?
Yeah, that next year I think Selvage will be a realistic option. Yeah,
absolutely. And there are other options as well. It's not just that coming through, and we've got a really good system. We gave up all our pitching depth, but it doesn't look like it because we've actually got tons of pitching depth coming through. The dude that we acquired for Joey Gallo, I think he could very well be an everyday starter very, very soon. So you look at these guys coming through, they're not going to cost any money, right? So it's actually kind of smart. If you look at the economics behind it, it's kind of smart. Yeah. This is how you build a team. That's how you build a team. And then you augment it with the superstars. And we've got our superstars. We've got Aaron Judge. We've got Soto. And you got Garrett Cole. those are the big contracts you build around, and then you just work around from there, and you build a team that way um, through smart signings. We got Strowman on a cheap deal, and you augment the important positions in free agency with some smart pickups, and then the rest, use your farm system. I love Clayton Beater. He might be on the injured list right now, but he's going to have a big future for
Yeah,
the
and that
Yankees. So that's it. So what Hal is saying is not wrong. So what he's saying is actually accurate. You don't need $300 million. You don't need $295 million to build a team. You don't. Now, could he have chosen his words wiser? That is something that you could critique. But that dude is not has never been and never will be someone that you want to be the face of the team through the media. He's just not that guy. He sometimes puts his foot in his mouth a little bit, sometimes says things that you're like, oh no, don't say that, right? When he was talking about, remember when he talks about bondsmen and things like that? Like we don't want to hear about bondsmen. I don't want to hear about bondsmen.
Oh, we
So,
ripped them from that one.
so when you're the most important franchise in the world, you yeah, who earns money hand over fist, you don't really want to be talking about, well, it's not sustainable financially. We can't have that. You don't really want to hear that, especially when Yankee fans pay more than basically anybody else in the sport uh, to rep their team. So no, we don't really need to hear that. But what he's saying is not wrong. There's just ways in which he probably could have said it. But to be fair, he's always said this. What did he say a week ago? And everyone's got short memories. What did he say a week ago? I'm willing to change our current philosophy in terms of extending contracts for Juan Soto because he is a unique player. This is a unique situation. I am willing to have that conversation right now. But people have got such short memories. They fly off the handle with the merest thought. And you guys got short memories. He said it a couple of days ago. He says, I'm willing to change our current philosophy in order to get Juan Soto tied down. What is it that you guys want? This is what we want, right? We want him to do that. And he's already expressed that he's willing to do it. If you want to, I mean, the only thing that you could criticize Hal about was if he didn't say that. If he said, well, no, we'll just wait out to the end of the season, then that is an L. But he didn't say that. He's like, I will look to try and have a discussion with Scott Boras right now. What does you guys want? This is what you want, right? So he hasn't said anything wrong. And he said it in the past. He said, you don't need to have a $300 million payroll to win the World Series. The Arizona Diamondbacks made the World Series last year. They spent no money, right? None last year. Very little anyway. Tampa Bay were always constantly making it in the playoffs, right? They spent less than zero money, right? And so he's not wrong, right? He's not wrong. So it's just about how you build, and the only thing that you could critique Hal about is maybe he needs to choose his comments wiser, considering how much money Yankee fans pay. He probably could have just said, "Listen, I believe that we have a farm system which is so good that there is no necessity to spend $300 million. But we will always look to get better. We will always look to have a World Series caliber team every year. But we don't need to have $300 million payroll, considering look at the talent that we have coming through." No one would criticize that, right? And then you could just say, but my priority is 100% Juan Soto to build around alongside Aaron Judge. Then no one's going to criticize that. He just needs to probably be a little smarter with his words. But what he said is not wrong. And it's, again, looking for things to complain about. I really don't think that. I'll tell you one thing about Hal Steinbrenner, right? He might not be the best talker in the world, but one thing he is, he's a very good businessman, right? He's a very good businessman. And he took it upon himself to get Aaron Judge back, right? Because he's like, it would be terrible business if we lost our captain and the face of the franchise and our leader and our home run champion, and probably the overall home run champion all time to the San Francisco Giants. That's terrible business. So he got him done. Do you think he's going to let Juan Soto walk away?
No.
The face of baseball, probably the best player in baseball? No, he's not going to let that happen. Not at 25 years old. No one's that dumb. So he's going to get it done. I trust that. So again, I just think that we're looking for things to complain about. He hasn't said anything
Rod.
wrong.
No, and D-Rod, none of us are saying that they're automatically going to be successful. So I don't know why you're doing that. And no one's saying that all these guys are immediately going to be good.
Other fans.
But still, like,
I think it's other.
This is very. It's been kind of confrontational this entire chat with. I've seen you and Joan going back and forth a little bit. I don't think anyone out there is saying that these guys are a guarantee. But we're not talking about having to replace an Aaron Judge or a Garrett Cole or possibly Juan Soto. But if you get back Juan Soto, you're replacing Gleyber Torres with Peraza, who we've seen have spurts of success at the major leagues. There's no issue with that. If you're talking about replacing Rizzo, that's a little more conversation. Okay, I get you, D-Rod. But if you're talking about replacing Rizzo, that's a little more of a conversation because we don't know. They've had Ramirez play first. They have Ben Rice, who could play first. Rumfield's kind of have taken off a little bit. That's a little more of a question of who's going to be at first next year. That's why Rizzo could be back, but it all depends on how the rest of his season goes. But replacing bullpen arms, the Yankees have been doing that for years. So it's not like we're talking about replacing megastars with prospects. We're talking about replacing solid players with younger players. That's what Hal is doing right now. He's got the big money tied down to his good players, and he's going to add Soto to that list.
Yeah, it's, because the question I was going to ask you guys and anybody in the chat that didn't hear it yesterday, because D-Rod asked me a question specifically, right? And we brushed about this all off season. If they call up these prospects and they're not the that we're expecting them to be out of the gate, and I think that point of view, I think that it's an overreach to think that everybody's going to come out and just be, insane. Are we willing to go through the growing pains with these kids if they decide to go all out for Soto and then plug in with the younger kids? Look, if they have a successful year this year, because this is my answer to D-Rod, I'm okay with that. Just make sure that you keep Soto. And everything else fall into place. Right. And let it be what it be.
I get you, D-Rod.
Your mouth
no,
you're
right.
Here.
You're right.
Hold on. That's it.
You're right, D-Rod. I know that's a little extreme. I get that. That is absolutely extreme. Keep the expectations down for the younger players, but also be excited for them, but keep the expectations tempered. That I understand. I get you.
Yeah, like I was being sarcastic also in response to when he said that. I'm like, are you kidding? I says Dominguez is going to be a 400 career hitter. He's going to have more home runs than Pete Rose has hits. I mean, we were just having a lot of fun back and forth, but it really was an exaggeration, but kind of not, of how our expectations of these prospects that get called up really need to be curbed down a little bit, because they are going to go through growing pains. That's just the nature of it. Sometimes the growing pains are their rookie year. Sometimes it's their sophomore year. You always hear about the sophomore slump. And that's exactly with the whole premise of what D-Rod was saying. So but yeah, you do have to curb your expectations. If they're playing well, like how the Yankees are playing right now. Like Donald, like you said, and we've talked about, in previous chats. Enjoy the ride. Stop fucking bitching about any little thing that you can come up with.
Well, you're spot on about there's no guarantee that the prospects are just going to be absolutely balling out immediately. Yeah. Just look at Jackson Holiday of Baltimore. Yeah. He has a minus 0.5 WAR and a 111 batting average, and everyone was saying that he's going to be a generational talent. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to turn out that way, but right now he's struggling, and that's what happens. So it's natural These things happen. So there's no guarantee that right immediately they're going to absolutely ball out. So everyone develops at different rates, everyone develops at different rates. Like, that's why Dominguez, what he did last year was so amazing. The guys literally didn't miss a beat going into the majors. He literally did not miss a beat. But then on the other side of the coin, Everson Pereira looked overmatched, right? It's right. And there's nothing wrong with Pereira as a prospect. He's good prospect. He's doing fine. But Peraza, it takes him time, right? But Dominguez didn't even miss a beat, right? Ozzy Cabrera, he's always looked kind of comfortable in the majors, in my opinion. In fact, he's probably looked more comfortable in the majors than he has in AAA. It's just he's that kind of guy that he just seems to be really comfortable in his role. So everyone's different, but yeah, you're right about that, Tat. So like, we're not guaranteed that as soon as we call up these prospects next year that they're all going to be raking. That's not going to happen. It's not realistic. It isn't realistic, and there's some guys that are going to reach their potential and some won't. But at the end of the day, what Hal Steinbrenner is saying, just to go back to the original point, what he's saying is not wrong. It's accurate. It isn't sustainable to have a $300 million payroll to take on bad contracts all the time. I'm not putting words in his mouth, but it's true, right? There's no need to overpay for bad contracts when you've got this kind of farm system we have right now. And for those complaining about how Steinbrenner's running this thing, I mean, look at it. It's actually pretty good, right? We've got the two best players in baseball. We've got the best pitcher in baseball, all on this team right now. And we have one of the best farm systems. Whether MLB.com or the MLB network rate it as one of the best farm systems, it is one of the best farm systems because these guys are coming through. And they're coming through. There's not a position right now where that couldn't be strengthened with our farm system right now. That's pretty good work. Right, even first base is starting to look a little better these days, with certain options, Rumfeld and Rice, etc. And then you got catching situations looking fine. Our infield's coming through. Outfield has got a ton of prospects, and our starting rotation has a ton of prospects, and our bullpen has some prospects as well. So, I mean, what he's saying ain't wrong. There's just maybe smarter ways in which you can say it, but what he said in essence is correct. So there's no point going nuts about it. As long as Juan Soto is here, tied down for the next 10 to 14 years next year, no one should be complaining.
Yep, exactly right. But let's talk about the offense before we get into the awards for the series. Yeah. Because Aaron Judge continues to absolutely kill it at the plate. And we mentioned Juan Soto had the 2 home run game as well. But how quickly has the season turned around for Aaron Judge? Because a couple of weeks ago, it was pretty gloomy. We were down on the captain. We weren't overly critical, but we were asking for the captain to be what he is supposed to be. Earn your stripes, and he certainly has, because he's been the best player in baseball once again. And he reminded everybody really quickly of who the hell he is and why you should put some respect on his name. There were people suggesting that he was a fraud, he was a fluke, bad contract, they should have never done what they did. And Aaron Judge said, Aaron Judge said, go fuck yourself, because I'm still the best player in baseball. Because that man has put himself into the MVP camp. He's hitting 276, 15 homers, 35 ribbies. His OPS is higher than Soto's now. That's how good he's been lately.
It's 1,026 now.
It's over 1,000. This guy is one of the top home run hitters in baseball again. And this is the guy that we were concerned with. Some people were concerned, like, oh, where's the power? Where's my captain? Where'd he go? Oh, here he is. He's back, and he's raking, and he's putting this team on his back. One shoulder, actually, I should say, one shoulder is on Judge. The other one is being carried by Soto. These two have absolutely been fantastic. And let's not forget Giancarlo. He's washed up, right? He can't do it anymore. He's got 12 homers already. Freaking trio right there. That the 3-headed monster of Judge, Soto, and Stanton have absolutely been incredible. And then there's Alex Verdugo, who has more than earned his keep so far this season, hitting 256 already with 6 homers, 27 RBIs. Probably going to end up hitting a career high in home runs this year. That career high was 13. So he's already basically halfway there. This has been fun to watch. This offense has been absolutely mashing. Anthony
I
Volpe with
believe that Aaron Judge has 34 hits in 25 games.
Yep.
His month has been just historic. It's historic how good he's been. He's got to be player of the month. If he's not, then investigation needs to happen.
And let's not also skirt over Volpe's hitting streak.
Yep.
Facts. 16 games.
For somebody that, is moved into the leadoff spot with some criticisms and some, I don't want to say, I'll say concerns rather than criticisms, because we knew he was going to get there eventually. And it took him a little while to go through some adjustments to that, because the leadoff spot is not batting for 1 and batting 6 are 2 different mentalities. And you can see that now that he's figured out, all right, this is the approach I need to take to get on base for the big guys, and he's been doing it. So I think it's been up to 14, 15 games now. He's with a hit. So
16
16 now.
game hits.
All right. So Volpe as well. See, the top of the order is just on fire right now, and that's why you saw Luis Castillo kind of. He didn't know what happened yesterday because he's used to coming into here. We saw him twice in a week with the trade deadline, just come in and just completely own our lineup. Well, sorry, Castillo, that was last year. This lineup is clicking, and it does. It's 1 through 5. Or just
further breakdowns on Aaron Judge in his last 7 games. He has 4 home runs, 6 RBIs, and a 381 batting average, 567 on base percentage. He's on base 60% of the time, and he's got a slugging percentage of 1,048. Over his last 15 games, he has 8 home runs, 14 RBIs, 1,080 slug, 561 OBP, and a 420 batting average over his last 15 games. He is batting over 400 in his last 15 games. Wow. Just look at those numbers. As I say, if you've got an OBP of 561, you're basically on base 60% of the time. Got a batting average of 400. You got 8 home runs and 14 RBIs.
Yeah, but there's going to be that one fan that wants to point out the strikeout with the bases loaded. Like, that's what they're going to settle on. Fuck all the other numbers.
21 hits in 15 games. Yowza. So that just further proves Rob's point that he's on fire. Yeah. He has really taken off, and he's shown good leadership too. And certainly Rob deserves a ton of credit, because I was concerned. I was like, dude, these are bad.
So was I.
Yeah, but Rob is like, no, trust it. He's going to come around, and he's come around all right. So it's good to see that he's back and he is mashing. But still, Juan Soto continues to be the king of the city right now. That dude is on fire. What a series he had.
The other thing that needs to be, that also has to be mentioned, that nobody wants to. A few people, I think, don't want to bring it up because they're afraid of the superstitious jinx. But look at the overall health of the club. When was the last time we actually were this deep into a season without having the next man up mentality, mantra going around?
Yeah, I don't want to put that juju in the air, bro. Let's just enjoy it.
Hurt tonight. I'm blaming you, Tats.
Yeah, I don't want to even discuss it. Let's just enjoy it. But you're right. But let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's all I got to say about
that. Yeah. Over Juan Soto's last 7 games, he's batting .370 with 4 home runs and 7 RBIs in his last 7 games. That dude is mashing as well. What a series he had, too. What a series from Juan Soto. So, dude, our offense is mashing. What about Big G? Good point about Big G. Big G's been mashing as well. Yep. He's been on a low-key hot streak for a while.
Going back to the 17th, he's been boiling hot. He was okay this series. He had the home run yesterday, but he didn't play the third game or the second game, I think. They pinch hit him. But overall, if you had told me he'd be hitting like this late into the season, I would have said 1, he's on the roster. That's a good sign. 2, 12 home runs on May 24th. That's great. 27 RBIs. He's hitting the ball well. He's getting on base a lot better. He's got an OPS of 805. So, I mean,
Wow.
what more do you want out of him? He's done everything that we could have asked him to do. He's DHing primarily, which is fine, and he's doing his job. He's hitting home runs. That's all we need him to do is hit the ball out of the park, and he's doing that. So, Big G has been fantastic.
G-Force.
Yep.
And you're right, Tats, about bringing up Volpe. He's done an excellent job.
Yep.
16-game hitting streak's unreal for a dude in his second year.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's really turned it around.
Yeah.
And he stole third yesterday too, which
we love that.
Yep. More aggressive.
I was going to say they're letting him use his legs again.
I want him to be aggressive. I love to see that.
But I think that, I talked about this, on Monday's show when we were talking about Volpe and how it was rumored out there that they were told, that he was told not to worry about stealing bases, just adjusted, batting in that position. I think it's safe to say that they're comfortable with his adjustments where it's like, all right, go back to another, you have the strength, a strength of yours is spraying the ball around with and getting on base. Now let's utilize your next strength, which is your speed. And I thought that the steal of third yesterday was, I'm like, all right, finally they're letting this kid run again. Because it seemed like they were a little hesitant to have, they wanted to keep that runner on for Soto and Judge. And I thought that, well, if you're not going to let him use his speed, why are you keeping him in a leadoff? So I'm glad that they, I hope that they let him run more often than not, depending on how the matchups go.
Talking about spraying it all over the field, that's one thing I've really loved about the Yankee offense this year. It has not been a pull-heavy offense. This team are hitting it all over the ballpark. Juan Soto went to dead center over Monument Park. Aaron Judge into the bullpen in center field. Then there's been home runs to left, to right, all over the park. That shows that the Yankees are seeing the ball great because they're not just being pull heavy. They're hitting it all over the ballpark, spraying it all over the gaps, especially Big G.
Yeah, and I'm looking at a couple of these quick comments in the chat about it. And one, Mr. Barrows, have a good day. Thanks for hanging out with us. Boone said, nosebleed here. Boone said he's not a burner, but a smart base runner with great technique. And I think that's, while you don't, most base runners, the base dealers, right off the first pitch, they're looking to go. Volpe does not do that. So I think Nosebleed makes a good point here. He watches the first pitch to really get a gauge of the delivery on the pitcher. Because if he has a quick release to the plate, Volpe is most likely not going to run. Because I think Volpe can easily work on his jump on the delivery. And improve an already positive strength of his with his speed.
Yeah, I like them to continue to be aggressive, just in the right spots.
Tats, have you got the video queued up? Because I believe it is time for the awards of this Seattle series.
Let's go.
Let's go. Salute to Jared Williams. You guys are awesome. You are awesome for watching us. Thank you so much, Jared. Okay, let's get into the MVP of the series. MVP. So everyone, get your thinking caps on. Who's your MVP? Let's start with Uncle T. Uncle T, who was your MVP?
Judge. Judge is he was the driving force, throughout the whole series, in the first two games and the final two games. So Judge got my MVP this year, this series.
It's a good choice.
And Robinho.
Aaron Judge got on base every game, had 5 hits, or he had a hit every single game. I'm sorry, not 5, 6 hits. No, it was 5. He scored a run every single game. 6 runs. That's what it was. 3 homers. He's mashing. Absolutely, Aaron Judge, my MVP of the series. It was a tough choice though, because Soto and Verdugo were both very good.
Yeah.
Even Torres had a really good game as well, but Judge gets the nod for me.
It's a really tough one. I mean, you could argue it's a 4-way race between Volpe, Soto, Judge, and Verdugo. All had great series, so no one's losing here. So in Game 4, Judge was 2 for 2 with a home run and RBI. Soto got an RBI. Okay, so that was Game 4, but then Game 3, Soto hit a massive home run. Dude, it's tough. It's tough. I thought Soto had an unbelievable series. I'm gonna give the MVP to Juan Soto. Juan Soto, I felt, had the better series overall between him and Judge. Let's go to the fans. Who have the fans got?
Well, Spencer has Judge.
Okay. Everyone's saying Judge. All right. Unanimous. The fans have unanimously went for the captain. I'm repping Juan Soto all the way. That's my boy. You're my boy, Blue. Low-key MVP. Let's start with Rob.
Give me Alex Verdugo. He had a really good series. He was the offense in the first game, and he continued that the entire series. Had a hit every single game, had a home run, drove in 6 total. So I wanted him for my MVP, but Judge is continuing this hot streak, put him a step over. But Verdugo was fantastic.
Uncle T.
Yeah, I think Rob and I shared notes again for this one because I think without Verdugo's production in Game 3, who knows where the series might have led to. So I'm giving it to Verdugo.
That's a good one. But if I gave MVP to Soto, then because as Jared pointed out, Soto hit 2 home runs in Game 3. If I gave the MVP to Soto, it's between Judge and Verdugo for low key. Dugo Dog was the offense in Game 1. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you guys. I'm gonna go with Verdugo. Verdugo's a low key MVP. And the fans, let's see what the fans have got to say.
You got Spencer's vote for Stanton.
Good vote there for salute to you. Spence Nosebleed says Dugo. D-Rod says Dugo.
Jones saying low key is Volpe.
Jared says Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
So Dugo wins the low key MVP. Verdugo has been low key awesome. Let's go with the clutch award. Who was the clutch guy for? There's a ton of options here. Ton of options. What up, Li? How are you?
Come on, Li.
Let's go with Rob. Who was your clutch award winner?
We didn't really have a ton of clutch moments that were needed in the last 2 games, but I'm going to give this one to Verdugo also because the 8th inning of Game 3 hit the home run that kind of put the game out of reach. Yeah, they had made it a little bit closer, and Verdugo's home run gave us a little bit of that edge that we needed, that we didn't have to go to Holmes at that point. So, yeah, I'm going double down on Verdugo in this series.
Double Dugo. Okay.
Double Dugo.
Uncle T.
I'm actually. This could have been. I actually ended up flipping my low key MVP and my clutch. So my clutch award, I'm giving to Cortez. Yeah, coming off the way that the games were lost, the first 2 games, to come out and get the pitching back on track to shut down an offense that was feeling it. I'm going with Cortez for my clutch award.
I think he was mostly clutch for the fact that he had so many base runners. He got himself in so much trouble, but he never, ever, ever wavered, and he got out of each one. So that's the definition of clutch. So you gotta have something there.
Yeah, that's why I use the word quietly. Quieted the offense, didn't shut because he didn't shut them down.
But D-Rod says, tell you what, Heel was clutch because he pitched against Castillo, and even the series basically single-handedly.
That's a good one too. There's really this series there was a lot of options for these awards.
I'm going to give it to Aaron Judge because there was so many MVP candidates. I don't want to. I don't think it's fair to say
you can't leave
MVP Judge and then not have Soto involved, or MVP Soto and not have Judge involved. So I think Judge needs his name because he's been amazing. So he's going to get my Clutch Award winner. As I say, not necessarily anything that came up clutch. He was just clutch the whole series. He was just great the whole series. So Aaron Judge gets that award. That's why the Clutch Award can be taken many different ways. It could be like a second MVP or a third MVP. I just want to give him a shout out. So let's go with the fans. The fans, who would you guys have as your Clutch Award winner?
All right.
Sean
Spencer's vote goes to Soto.
Sean and Spencer have Soto, Joan going with Verdugo, D-Rod going Heel, Stevie B saying Heel. Got a couple for Heel. We got kind of like a tie right now.
Yeah. So we'll say the next name wins.
Yep, it's democracy, people. Votes out there.
Next vote wins Heel or Doogie.
No, Soto. You got Doogie on the brain, bro.
No, look, it's Verdugo.
Everyone's got Soto too. There's Soto as well. There's Soto, Dugo, and Keel. I think are all getting the.
Do I got Doogie on the brain?
Yeah, well,
it sounds so weird. Doogie on the brain.
We got Doogie on the brain. D-Rod, can you guys do polls on live stream? Yeah, we can work on that. We can get our.
We gotta figure that out.
Our tech guys on the.
We'll work on that, D-Rod.
Nosebleed says Heel. Right.
And LI, we actually spend quite a bit of time on that earlier. So just after the show, you can rewind back to about 30-minute block.
There we go. So it looks like Heel has won the Clutch Award. Congratulations to Luis Heel. Okay, let's go to the pitching award. I mean, this is easy for me. You're my boy, Blue, Luis Heel. He's done it again. Yep. My man. This is walking Cy Young, walking Rookie of the Year. It's insane. Fucking hell. Absolutely unbelievable. Just across the board, top 10 in the majors in every single category. Another 6 innings shutout, just one hit ball, mowing people down. The real deal Heel. Oh, I like that, Sean. Real deal Heel. Well, I'm going to remember
the Yankees uploaded a really cool picture on their Instagram of behind the mound, and it says the King of the Heel in the dirt.
Yeah, I saw that.
King of the Heel, real deal Heel. Oh, I love all those. Those are really good. Okay, so Heel is the real deal, and he's my pitching award winner. Rob.
Marcus Stroman. He should have had a W. He pitched 7 1/3 against a good Mariners team, kept him to 1 run, 6 strikeouts. Had a really good start and got very, very, very unlucky that the bullpen blew that game for him. So I wanted to give him a shout out because he really was great. And his comments, his walking off the mound, pounding his chest, and then what he said on Twitter afterwards, it makes it so easy to root for the guy now. Marcus Stroman gets my award for the series.
Yeah, you're right, man. 7 1/3 innings. He was unbelievable. Uncle T.
I'm. You almost make me want to change my mind, my thought, but I'm going to stick with what my original thought was, and I have Heel as the pitcher. To go toe to toe against Castillo, like D-Rod said, as well. I think showed incredible focus on the task at hand.
Great point. Okay, fans. Jonathan says he was at the Stroman game. Dude. That's a tough one to witness.
It's a great 8 innings, right? Great 8 innings you saw.
I hope you enjoyed the first 8 innings. Sean Strowman won me over, so I think that's 2 in the Strowman camp, I believe. Stevie B has heel. Nosebleed has starters in general. Get your votes in, people who
Joe has
are
heel too.
so.
And Jonathan was at the Strowman game. That's pretty cool.
Sunil goes heel. Good job, Sunil. Thank you, my guy. So heel is climbing up. It's between heel and Strowman.
Yeah.
Li, who's your vote? Get your vote in, bro. Get your votes in, people. So it looks like at the moment, heel is going to edge it. What do you say?
Seems that way. Looks like it's about to go in heel's favor.
Yep, it looks like heel will be the pitching winner unless something else changes in the next.
Spencer threw in heel too.
Right.
Yep.
Good job. And Li's brought in his heel vote. Good job. Oh, Strowman's nosebleed has thrown in Stroh, but I think heel still wins. So
heel got it by like
by a vote. It was a tough one though. There's no loser here, that's for sure. Okay, but there is going to be a loser because there's the next award is the L award. Who takes the L? Let's start with Rob.
For the first time this year, Clay Holmes got to take the L, man. I know he got some unfortunate weak hits against him, but he just didn't look very good. 2 walks hurt him. And look, it's May 24th, and he just got his first L award of the season. So I don't think it's too much to look into. A rough game, but he bounced back his last outing. Came out yesterday, looked fine. So that's what we wanted to see. But for this one, sorry, Clay, got to give it to you.
I don't know, man. He came in with the bases loaded yesterday and got out of it completely unscathed.
But there weren't really many other L's to give out. Like the second game, it was weird. I mean, you can give it to Clayton Andrews. You want me to change it to Clayton Andrews? Your first pitch is.
No, you gave your vote. You gave your vote to Holmes. It makes sense, man. He blew a 4-run lead.
Yeah.
But Stevie B says Torres is on pace for 25 errors. I think he's on base for like 40 at this rate. So you got your vote for Holmes. Uncle Tats, who is your vote?
No, I have Boone.
Ooh, good one.
I thought, I think the bullpen management was not his sharpest this series. I wanted to take it away. I wanted to take the L back because he manned up about, look, I probably, he goes, I really should have, I should have changed my plan, but you still stuck with your plan.
Yep.
I also thought that I think he could have, in that first game, he probably should have had somebody to come in for Holmes a little sooner. So I think that he just kind of dropped the ball in the bullpen in the series. So I'm going with Boone on this one, and I hate to do it.
You don't know, dude. Absolutely justified. I think that's actually the best point because it was kind of iffy. I was thinking Andrews for the L. For just walking in, giving up a home run so fast, it's unbelievable and cost the game. But to be honest, I think Tats has won me over on that because it's not Andrews' fault that he's terrible. It's pretty obvious that he's terrible. Look at his record in AAA. It is 6.60 ERA in AAA, right? And he was not going to last 24 hours on the Yankee roster anyway. He was always going down the next day. So it's never your fault for being shit. It's being put in the position to fail. And who put him in that position to fail? It was Aaron Boone. So Aaron Boone is going to take the L for this series. We used a ton of relievers in a 5-0 game yesterday. A lot of high leverage arms is another point. So the bullpen management was a little questionable. I think you're right about that, Tats. I think he did wait a little bit too long on Holmes. I am not giving Clay Holmes the L in this series because in that 4-run game, as we broke down, One of them was an error from Gleyber Torres that advanced a runner. Also, poor fielding from Rizzo. Rizzo should have gotten the scoop. He didn't get the scoop. So all around, that was poor. And Aaron Judge let a ball bounce in front of him. I think a fleeter-footed center fielder would have actually made that catch. I don't think, and I didn't love the fact that the ball dropped in front of him. So, Clay Holmes didn't pitch well, but he got a lot of bad luck. Because no one really crushed the ball off him. It wasn't like it was a grand slam off him. It was just a lot of bad luck, just poor fielding all the way around. So I'm not blaming him for that. The rest of it, I think Aaron Boone put the Yankees in poor positions. What about giving a day off to Stanton, who's red hot, and going with Grisham, who can't hit, who's just absolute ass? That was another L. Just not a great series from Aaron Boone. And yeah, I love the fact that I don't love the fact he owned up to it. I'm 50-50 on it because, as I say, George Steinbrenner says that's really bad leadership if you if you cop it like that. But there's other people who would say, no, that's really good leadership. So, but George Steinbrenner has always said, I don't like to see my managers admit weakness. And the fact that Aaron Boone did admit weakness right there, where he did completely get a horribly wrong in that game, he gets the L for me. Let's go to the fans. Let's see what the fans have got. Let's see. LI, yeah, I'm giving an L to Boone.
Someone's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Sunil Grisham is the repetitive AOA automatic out award winner. So is he in the L? Is he getting the L, Grisham, Sunil?
No, Sunil had two choices. I mean, he wants to award himself for following the rules, and then he gives out two choices. Take the L, Sunil, once again. Just name this a Sunil Award while we're at it.
Torres gets the L.
I think Torres is getting it from a lot of people.
Torres.
Yeah.
Torres and Boone. I mean, Torres didn't have a bad series. I mean, listen, I would give this award weekly to Gleyber Torres if I could get away with it. I really want him out of my roster. But he didn't do anything other than that one play. That one error.
It wasn't even a bad play. That's the thing. It was a hard play. Rizzo should have scooped it, and the guy was safe. So
yeah, he showed great range to get the ball. It was just the throw was weak.
I think the question on that was it his or Volpe's ball? I think that's where a lot of the deep dive into that play.
I mean, also another thing, Volpe threw to the wrong base in that game as well. We don't forget about that. Remember? No, in the next game, Volpe threw to the wrong base where he easily could have just gone to second, where Torres was standing, and he got the lead runner out, but instead he threw to first and airmailed it. It was a wrong throw. So no one played well, particularly in the infield defense. So I'm not going to single out Torres, I'm afraid. So I think Boone is that L. Defense with the L. Nosebleed. Defense with the L. That I agree with. Should we just go with the defense? I think that's
ninth inning could take the L. Ninth inning of game one.
Yeah, I was sloppy. But no, I think
I'm going to take an executive decision, and I'm going with Nosebleed's defense. Because, as I pointed out, a lot of the Clay Holmes problems right there was on defense. So let's do that. Aaron Boone award out of 10. This is going to be interesting. Let's start with Uncle T.
I'm actually, despite the bullpen moves, I thought it was still he could have made things a lot worse. So I can't go too hard. We did manage to split the series, so I'm going with a 6.
6 probably is fair. Rob.
Yeah, I'm with Joan and Sean here, giving him a 5. We had a split, and it could have easily been a series win if not for some of his decisions. So
yeah.
Clayton Andrews in that game is an absolutely unexcusable offense. I know he owned up to it, but You cannot put him in there. We talked about that already. So I'm going halfway. Took half the series. He gets a halfway vote.
And I'm gonna agree with Rob on that. I think that's the best way of putting it.
Yeah, so
Shit
Neil's got a
series,
5.
you got
a couple
50%, you
sevens.
get a 5. But he didn't manage it particularly well. Okay, let's go to the fans.
Well, Steve's saying a 1.
Damn.
Now, I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not.
No, he
He's
actually
so
said it in our
emotionally
previous
attached to
podcast. I have Boone. He already said it. He's like, I want Boone to get 1 out of 10. He already said it on our last show. So Stevie B
Yeah.
is staying consistent. Joan in a 5, Li saying 7,
Looks like
Sneal
7.
5, Nosebleed and Jonathan 7.
It's tied
So
right now.
We got Nosebleed, Jonathan, and Li's giving him a 7.
Yeah,
that.
it's
I
tied.
would never
We need
saw
one
that
more
coming.
vote. Give us one more vote, guys. If does
Well, I
does
think in
Spencer
these-
have a vote?
I think in these circumstances, I think you try and like work out the percentage, and I think overall it's a 5 out of 10. If you got a 1 and a 5 and 3 sevens, I think it's probably closer to a 5.
You got 3 5s, and you got 3 7s.
Well, there you go. See,
Yep.
I'm going 5 out of 10.
He's
Okay,
going 5 out of 10.
let's go with the Aaron Hicks Award for the worst of the worst, and I think there's quite a few candidates. I mean, top of my head is Andrews, but there are other candidates as well. So let's go with Rob for the worst of the worst, the Aaron Hicks Award. Who have
And
you got?
if he's going where I think he's going, I'm right with him.
To the worst sports broadcasting network, whatever the hell you want to call it out there, WFAN, the pieces of garbage that employs a bunch of empty-headed dumb fucks like Sal Licata and that other Marash guy saying the Yankees got punched in the mouth. They haven't beaten any good teams. Like, we didn't beat the crap out of the Astros, who have been the class of the American League since 2017. We didn't take 2 out of 3 against the defending National League champion Diamondbacks. We didn't beat the first-place Brewers. We didn't beat the Minnesota Twins, who were red hot. We didn't take care of the first-place Cleveland Guardians. No. We didn't go on the road and beat the Tampa Bay Rays, who always give us fits. No. Because we lost, we had one bad series against Baltimore, and we ended up splitting with the second-best team in the AL in the Seattle Mariners. The Yankees are a fraud. I hate WFAN. I hate Sal Licata. And that other moron that said we got punched in the mouth, well, guess what? We punched them right back. So go fuck yourself, too. Sal Licata, do me a favor. Keep the Yankees name out your mouth. Keep worrying about Juan Soto going to the Mets next year. That's all you have to hang on. Go worry about that dumpster fire in Queens and keep the Yankees name out your fucking mouth because no one wants to hear you talk anymore, you piece of shit. Fuck WFAN.
I mean, mic drop. Should we just end the stream right there? Like, that's as good as it gets. There's it literally doesn't get any better than that. We definitely need to salute that phenomenal rant because that is absolutely spot on. Uncle Tats.
Yeah, I had everybody on
that.
No, I had every host on that station minus Keith McPherson. But
yeah, that's
you
true.
know, I just think that they're just Sal's got to fucking stop. Rob's right. Just shut up. Your team is a fucking dumpster fire, so you want to tear down the other New York team. Do your fucking job and break things down properly. Don't just start, don't go for all this fucking clickbait. It's really getting annoying. I can't fucking take it. And I'm gonna stop there because I'm not gonna be able to outrant Rob on that one.
You can't outrun. That's just you got it. I think it might be a clean sweep here because I was debating it because there's a couple in there. I think Grisham stinks, and I think Andrews is the worst of the worst. But he only lasted 24 hours, for a reason. But the Aaron Hicks Award is Sal Licata. You are the worst of the worst. You are the worst broadcaster. And it's an affront to people who have a career in sports to make your whole thing about clickbait. What you're saying doesn't make sense. And I know he won't care because he's getting attention, and that's what I have a problem with. Is that he'll be happy that he's getting attention, but that's not what your job is. You're supposed to be giving knowledge. You're supposed to be giving good takes, smart takes. That's what your job should be. It shouldn't be about clickbait, but he's just going on clickbait. What did he say about Juan Soto? He called Juan Soto a walk merchant. I don't want Juan Soto up in a big spot just looking for walks.
But don't worry about that.
Hey, yo. This is my time. How many RBIs does he have? Oh, about like 40? Right. He's second in the majors in RBIs. Right? That's not a walk merchant. That's bullshit, bro. You're lying. You're lying to everyone. Painting a fake narrative to suit yourself because he draws a lot of walks. That's because he's got a great eye. He's got the best eye in the majors. That's never going to be a negative. That means that he's happy because he's not selfish to pass the baton. Someone selfish is getting yourself struck out, fishing, and not trusting who you got behind you. And who he's got behind you, he's the home run champion, for Christ's sake. It's a smart freaking player. So he's not a walk merchant. He's second in the league in RBIs. You bullshit artist. And what did he say about the Yankees? Oh, they can't beat the good teams. They beat the Astros. Aren't they supposed to be the quote-unquote dynasty? Right? Swept them on the road. Right? That's been forgotten about. Right? Arizona dealt with them pretty fucking handily. No issues there. Right? Like, what? We've got the second best record in the entire majors? What, is that all because we've beaten bad teams? No, we've made good teams look bad. They've all started with bad records because the Yankees have taken care of them all, right? That doesn't mean that they were bad to start with. It means the Yankees have dealt with them. So you can't change that narrative. You're just a bullshit artist, bro. And frankly, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for someone in that position to spout that nonsense because unfortunately, he gets airtime and he gets paid for that shit, right? And the biggest fault behind that was WFAN's ex manager, that fucking Spike Ekstrom or whatever his fucking name is. That dude that's gone off to Philadelphia. The dude looks like a crack addict. He's now doing crack in Philadelphia, but he's left this terrible fucking product in WFAN, who used to have Mike and the Mad Dog, Joe Benengo, guys that you used to enjoy listening to. Now we've got this shallow, empty shell. We've now got Evan Roberts, who looks like a hobo with his ridiculous ginger beard that goes down to his ball sack, and it needs to be shaved, and his takes are worse. And now you've got fucking BT, who's stuck with his idiot behind him, and I don't know how BT doesn't strangle him. I mean, how could anyone sit there with some dude 2 feet away from you screaming insensibly about nonsense, going, Yankees keep losing. I mean, it's like an old co-host we used to have. I'm not naming any names. That's what Salakat is like. Just a dude. He looks exactly like our old co-host, and he's screaming incessantly about nothing like our old co-host. So there you go. It's very, very infuriating, and it's an affront to people that, like ourselves, that try and give smart takes and productive takes and open-minded takes and respectful takes, and you've got this moron who gets paid for spouting nonsense, and it's very infuriating, and it's wrong, and he should be ashamed of himself. I really
goes out the window.
I really hope that WFAN learn and realize that they need to be, if you're going to be the voice of sports fans in New York, you want to have smarter voices. That's how I'll end it.
Let me be the voice of the Mets. Because I'll just say one more thing. When they both disrespected a Giants legend, whatever little respect I had for them went completely out the window. And all offseason, he's been talking about how Soto, this is his debut or his dress rehearsal for the Mets in Queens. Why the fuck would you want to go from where he is right now, being back-to-back with Aaron Judge, to being back to back with who? Possibly Francisco Lindor or Pete Alonso or JD Martinez. Maybe you want to go play with Carlos Mendoza. Maybe they'll add 3 more ex-Yankees to their roster next year, and then Sal Licata can jump for joy. Oh, I hate that guy so goddamn much. If I had an opportunity to smack him in his stupid bald head, I would. But that's inciting violence, and we don't do that here.
Yep.
Yeah, why don't you spend time discussing the most overrated player in the league, Francisco Lindor? Completely overrated. I've never seen him have a good year in about 5 years.
Yeah, but at the end of the season, his numbers will all line up. So it's okay that he sucks now.
Fuck.
It's okay that he's burying the team now because his numbers will look good at the end.
It's just, and yeah, but
Come
no,
on now.
Soto's the work merchant. He's the problem. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
But that is going to wrap things up for us before we get completely canceled. But no, it's look, we give honest takes here. We all have a good time with it. But thank everybody for hanging out with us this week and everybody's takes, everybody's comments. Love and appreciate you all. This has been another successful show, an overtime show on Pinstripe Chronicles. And want you to hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out with your friends, your family, stranger on the corner. And as I always like to say, with those pinstripes your pride and play on.
Have a great weekend, people.